With Halloween being tomorrow, everybody here on YouTube has basically done their own little tidbits to celebrate the Halloween spirit. You have Cinemastica doing their annual Monster Madness, where this year they're looking at the more recent horror films of the past year or so. You have basically Nostalgia Critic, Doug Walker at Channel Awesome doing Nostalgia Ween, his yearly event. You have Linkara doing Long Box of the Damned, his month-long event, along with an occasional review that's Halloween related. And you have places like Watch Mojo doing their own little countdowns, top 5, top 10 countdowns of some of the grossest, most brutal, most terrifying, jump scaring, horror films and animes, mangas out there today. But what about the under the radar stuff? What about the unknown? Because just today, the Old Turtle Den put up a video called The Dark Moments of the Last Ronin. And of course, they do this, on the day before Halloween, basically Halloween Eve, if you will. So, by doing this, they too are contributing to the Halloween spirit. Talking about some of the more darker moments in The Last Ronin, from basically the brutal deaths that took place in the story and so on. But again, it got me thinking, what about those that are under the radar? And one of them that I've always thought about as being sort of a dark moment but under the radar is Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. That's right. Now we know they've had some dark moments, some dark elements at times, or at least teased that they would. But there is one episode in particular. There is one episode in particular that kind of gets, shafted a little bit. It gets shafted all because I think it was released around St. Patrick's Day, or at least to help celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But it does have a dark moment, in the episode, mostly towards the end. Now, I'm not saying that the episode isn't dark in its own right. I mean, for example, you have this Banshee Queen enslaving most of the Leprechaun populace in Ireland to where basically the leader of the Leprechauns, basically is the last one to remain. He's the last one to remain. And he is trying his best to avoid capture. So what he does is he basically takes advantage of Dale's greed that's getting the best of him to switch places with Dale, and Dale ends up being enslaved, by the Banshee Queen and tossed into basically these fiery mine pits to mine gold for the Banshee. Now, of course, the Rangers are not too happy about this, and they basically hatch a plan to try to get Dale back. But at the same time, Dale, once again, showing that he does have a bit of a genius side to him, a creative side to him, brings up the fact that, hey, can't gold be, flattened into sheets or something like that? Which, of course, by demonstration, the Leprechauns are like, yeah, they can. But why would you want this? And basically, Dale's like, I have an idea. And what they do is they create a tube or some kind of a megaphone or something like that, an echo phone, if you will, that once they are back, back above ground, basically. Of course, the Banshee Queen's not thrilled to be, it's not thrilled at, being tricked, because she's thinking, oh, this actually is working quick now, because she wants them to mine as much gold as they can get at a quick pace, and give her as much, and does by doing so give her a lot. So what happens is she's not too thrilled with this. And of course, she transforms into her Banshee form, but what she doesn't know is the Banshee, is not the Banshee, but the Leprechauns, thanks to Dale, have created this echo thing, and when she, puts her scream out there, that's when the scream gets echoed back at her. But this does buy it enough time for Monterey and Zipper to be able to be launched, if you will, back over to where the Leprechauns, I guess you could say hiding places or whatever. And they're able to land in an area that's a good hiding spot, obviously, for the gold. Because if you know about anything about the Legend of the Leprechauns, they like to try to hide the pot of gold, thus preventing anybody from finding it, and anybody that does, they have to give the gold to, or they got to grant wishes, or whatever the scenario is. Anyway, to get to the point, not only do they return the gold that the pot of gold that the Banshee stole, thus forcing the leprechauns as she captured them one by one to mine for more gold, but by returning it and putting it in a new hiding spot, it restores the leprechaun's magic, and it's just enough for a certain moment to happen. Because not only is the Banshee being basically blasted by this leprechaun magic, but it's at the same moment that Gadget, that's right, Gadget looks around, sees a dinner tray, one of those dinner trays, if you will, gets a butter knife, I don't know, or is it a regular cutting knife, one of the two, and basically Chip's pushing it. He's pushing it. I think Dale's helping, but I think it's mostly Chip. Mostly Chip is pushing it. And obviously the leader of the leprechauns kind of sees what Gadget and Chip are up to, along with Dale. I think Dale's helping him. Again, I got to go back and watch it. But they basically push this tray, if you will, just fast enough for Gadget to basically take the knife, cut the rope of a chandelier right above where the Banshee is floating, where she's flying. And again, the leader of the leprechauns, kind of sees what's going to happen, uses his magic to uncover the rug and open the door, and that is when Gadget, basically, like I say, being pushed by this thing, cuts the rope holding the chandelier. The chandelier catches the leprechaun woman, not the leprechaun, but the Banshee woman, the Banshee Queen, and sends her straight to hell. Yeah, sends her straight to hell, basically kills her. Yeah, you heard me right. The last of the leprechauns, I think, or the last leprechaun, whatever it's called, that episode is where we see basically a villain death. That's right. We see a villain death. Now you might say, well, they killed some other villains. Not particularly. Not particularly, because we always saw the villains come back, in another episode. No, legitimately, we saw this character die. And it was all thanks to Gadget. Yeah, I'm surprised Doug Walker hasn't put this episode as part of his Dark Toons. Maybe he will eventually, because never once in all 65 episodes did we ever see a character get killed off. Never once. And here we see the Banshee Queen die. And it was, to me, it was shocking. Even as a kid, it's like, holy shit, they killed her. They basically gave her the classic Disney villain death, if you will. In a way. Because basically, it's kind of not so much, but similar to Judge Frollo's. You see, Judge Frollo's death basically was the fact that, he was holding onto a lion gargoyle's head that came to life, scared the crap out of him, broke off, and sent him into the fiery pit. Here, basically, you can combine that with almost similar to what happened with Clayton. Almost. Basically, because what happened to Clayton, he gets tangled up in those vines, and he falls, and he ends up hanging himself, killing himself, right? Here, you could take the element of being caught and tangled up in something like vines, but in this case it's rope holding up a chandelier, and the weight of it drags her down into the pit, into the fiery pits of the mind, basically to hell, killing her off. And that right there is an under-the-radar dark moment, because never once did you ever see in Rescue Rangers at that time a character die. I mean, yeah, now in the what is it, the classic, the classic Boom Studios revival, you had a character die, or a couple of characters die, because they were aiming at all the audience. And of course, in DuckTales, the revival and everything, the reboot, you had characters die. But here, this is 1989, 1990. This is before Tailspin came out. This is before Darkwing Duck came out. This is before freaking Gargoyles came out. We had never seen any villains die on screen until this moment. So to me, this is an under-the-radar dark moment in Rescue Rangers. Again, they've had some dark moments, no doubt. They've had some dark moments. But the truth is, this probably is the darkest. Because you had Gadget literally send this Banshee Queen to her death. That's saying something. That is under the radar. When it comes to stuff that nobody really brings up. Nobody really brings up, but it's true. That is under the radar. So yeah, in Chippendale Rescue Rangers episode, The Last Leprechaun, yeah, you get a dark moment at the end. A very dark moment because Gadget kills a Banshee. That's saying something, man. And again, surprised no one else has talked about it. Hopefully Doug Walker does eventually. But I just wanted to come on here, bring that up, get your guys' thoughts on it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the live chat. Unfortunately, for the next month or the rest of the year, there will be no super chats because of my monetization suspension, which I'm working to fix and correct. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. Love to hear from each and every one of you. You can support me immediately at Venmo and Cash App. Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2, Cash App at BWRoses98. You can support me over at Patreon with the $1 and $3 tiers, as well as a potential $5 tier in the works. I'm still thinking about that. Also, you can check me out at VENMO at BW Roses for content you can't get anywhere else. You can also check me out at deviantart.com/BVW1979 at my Teespring store just in time for the holiday season for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. As well as you can check me out, ladies and gentlemen. You can check me out at BW Roses Discussions at all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Love to hear from each and every one of you on this. And until then, I am out.